So when you create a wallet, let's understand the process right from the start. When you create a wallet, you essentially give a passphrase, right? And this passphrase is basically used to generate your private key, right?
Okay. So whatever passphrase you give, it is hashed. That hash is one of the inputs to generate your elliptical keys, elliptical key ECC keys.
Okay.
Okay, so that's an input.
All right.
Right. Through that you get public and private key.
All right. So essentially, the passphrase, the hash of the passphrase, is then used for whatever within the wallet, whatever addresses you want to create. Like let's say Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Tezos, whatever you want to create, it'll use the same hash to generate the keys for each of the blockchain.
Correct.
And
now the thing is,
create the address.
Yeah. Now the thing is, the string has whatever passphrase you have chosen. It has very less entropy, right? If I can guess the same string, I will get the same public private key. So when you generate keys from a poor entropy, like a passphrase, right? The problem is, if you also give the same passphrase, you will also have exact same keys. And now if you have the same private key, you can spend my money, which is on my public address, right? So that's a real threat.
Okay. So hold on a minute. So let's say if I'm able to guess, theoretically it's possible, but let's say if a wallet takes 12 words as passphrase and you're able to get the 12 words, guess the 12 words in a specific order, or so the order of the words is also important, or I don't know how, once you take the word, how do you concatenate it and then take a hash? Is that also important here?
Yeah, so it's simple. Hash is deterministic, right? Same input, you will get same output, right? So if I give same passphrase, okay, then you will have same set of public private keys and same public address. Even slight change in the passphrase will result into a totally different looking public address, public and private keys, right?
All right. And so this hash, what algorithm is typically used for generating this hash? SHA-256.
Yeah.
And so essentially that is also under threat because of our quantum friend here, or no?
No. Quantum friend threatens only asymmetric key cryptography, which is also called as public key cryptography, right? Not the symmetric. Symmetric means where you have one key to encrypt and the same key to decrypt.
Yes.
Encryption and decryption is done by the symmetric key. Asymmetric key is used to authenticate. It means I will sign something. Using my public, you can verify that I have signed it and no one else has signed it, unless he has the same key.
All right.
Correct. Now, so private key is used for authenticity, and then you have hashing. Hashing has nothing to do with encryption. It is just one-way signature that you are generating. Okay. Let's say I will just take under a minute and explain you that. Okay. Let's say you have hundreds of lines of content. Okay. And let's say we have a buffer of say 32 words. Okay, you take first 32 words, scramble it. Okay, then you have a state 1. Take next 32 words on that buffer, scramble it, you have state 2. Go on doing this. At last, you will get a 32 word output, which is totally scrambled. Okay, now this is unique to this content. Now, if you change anything in that content, the scrambling pattern looks totally different. Right, so this is called as one-way hash. Now, from this 32 words, you cannot get the 100 lines of content back. So that's why it is called as one-way hash. It uniquely identifies that this hash belongs to this content. Okay, any change in that content will result in a different hash. So it says it's a different signature for a different content. Right. So this is again not threatened by quantum computers.
All right. So I have two questions here. One is a very stupid question, and one is on the current state of the art, or techniques to break or cause collision. So the first is, see, the hash is finite, right?
Yeah, correct.
So it cannot go beyond a number, and theoretically you can have infinite input, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
how come you have infinite input, finite output, and then still not be able to have a hash collision? I mean, I cannot understand the maths here.
Right. Satyam, you want to take a stab?
Yes,
And I will also
I
give
can take
a reminder to that.
So if you think of a hash SHA-256, the reason it's called 256 because it has 256 bits.
Yes.
So 256 bits mean there are 256 zeros, 255 zeros and a 1, 255 zeros and a 1 0, and so on to all the way to 255 ones.
Yeah.
If you create this whole list, there are 2 to the power 256
Yes, absolutely.
possible outputs.
Absolutely.
Which is comparable to the number of atoms in the universe, actually much bigger number than that.
Right.
So that's why even though it is finite, it is enormous. So to generate a collision, we will have to create it by luck. I mean, there are other attacks where we are able to generate collisions in some smaller hashes, but to generate a collision at that scale is a really, really hard challenge. So yes, in theory, input can be infinite, but this is really large finite, even though it's finite. Ajit, you want to add?
Yeah, so you have very well explained that. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when Satoshi Nakamoto designed Bitcoins, why he chose a specific curve, SEC P256K1, is because for this curve, any 256-bit input can be a possible point on that curve. Any other curve you take, then not all 2 raised to 256-bit permutation combinations can be a possible point on that curve. Then you have restricted field to have valid points. So that's why they chose this particular curve, so that you have full 256-bit range, right? So that's why it is computationally impractical to find a collision with SHA-256 hashes, right?
All right. So basically, as they say, it's Bhagwan Bharose, right? We assume that there will be no collision because the set or the number set is so huge that there's absolutely very, very less probability that 2 different strings would have the same hash, but it's still there, right?
Again,
that's the premise.
Asim, there are 2 things here. Okay, so one is if you give same input, there will be same output. It's the nature of
that's
hash,
obvious,
right?
Yeah.
The possibility of you guessing the same input is more practical than finding another text which has the same this. So that is what we call collision. You have 2 random set of text, and you can see that both produce the same SHA-256 hash. Okay, there can be such 2 contents, but somewhere in the universe, they are not in proximity, they are not near you, and they are not accessible to you, right? There is a first prime age resistance, where you say this is the content, and now you give me another content which has the same hash. That is something which very, very dangerous, and that you can do with MD5. That's why MD5 is not
exactly.
practical, right?
Yeah.
And something similar is happening with this as well. First prime age resistance is this is the content, and you might get the text as well. Okay, and secondary is you have this text and you have another text which produces the same hash. Right? That is dangerous. How is getting?
Can I ask a question of Ajit in this context?
Please.
So you talked about hashing in terms of the password and this. You did not talk about in the context of proof of work.
I was actually coming to that.
Okay. If you are coming to that, I can wait.
So